Good morning, fellow race friends. This is on the start, the poor man's friend from beautiful, sunny Gulfstream Park. Panorama, please. That's it. Beautiful day here in South Florida. How are you, Mr. Ayala?
I'm doing wonderful. I'm very excited for the special edition of the Sunday Sermon. First off, I have to say that as the host of this program, I was put in my place by a lot of the viewers last week. I didn't think there would be a single soul that watched the entire video last week. Not only was there at least one, I think there was actually probably a dozen who enjoyed our complete conversation about nothing.
Our conversations of something of interest. We just don't get it. We have interesting topics.
Well, that's a beautiful segue because we're doing a special Sunday sermon today, and we're doing an Ask Art Anything. So what I did was, after I posted the video last week, I told all of your adoring fans that they had the option to ask you any question they wanted.
Well,
and they did not disappoint.
Well, that is good. Honest Art is here to answer any question he's capable of.
Well, without any further ado, let's get right into it. Now, we should note that you have not seen or heard any of these questions,
no.
So these reactions will be pure and honest, as only Honest Art can do. All right, we start with Lindsay Zanders, who I believe you're familiar with.
Who?
That would be Lindsay Zanders, my better half.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. I didn't understand the Sanders. Now I understand. If you had said the Linds, I would have known. All right, go ahead.
She would like to know, what are your top 3 red wines?
Well, Linds, I got to tell you, I like a red Tuscany from Italy. I love that, number 1. I love a Shiraz. How you say it? Shiraz? Shiraz. And then at the bottom of the totem pole, Chianti. That's my preference. That's, if I'm going to drink that wine, I probably would start off with a Chianti and work my way up. And then crash into the bed, and that'd be the end of it.
All right, now, Walter Costa, who I believe is from California, so he watches you when he drinks his coffee in the morning. He would like to know, what time do we start filming these Sunday sermons, and why do we never see anybody buying a program at your program stand?
Well, Walter, I'm glad you asked that question. Number 1, the track doesn't, the first race is at 12:30, Walter. Right now we're in the lull period. But Honest Art is here to serve anybody and everybody. Greeting of welcome to Gulfstream Park.
It's about an hour and a half before the first race.
Yeah. And Walter, where was Walter from?
I believe California.
Well, good luck to you, Walter.
Tim Warner, who is an avid member of the Honest Art Nation, he would like you to know that the New York Yankees are 17-1 over their last 18 games, and would like your thoughts on that as a native Bostonian.
Wait, what was his name?
Tim.
Tim?
Yeah.
Well, Tim, all I can say to you is, I love my Red Sox, Tim. And hold on. You were leading us 3 games to nothing. We swept 4. End of the story. That is it.
All right, well, he has one more question. He wants to know, how come we never discuss the AGP play of the day? As he understands you have at least one play a day, how come you never share it with any members of your family on the Sunday sermon?
Wait a minute. Let me say, he wants to know why I don't talk about my family?
No, why don't you talk about your play of the day?
Oh well, who asked that question? Tim.
No,
Again?
Tim, yeah.
Who?
Tim.
Well, he asked the other question.
Yeah, well, people have multiple questions.
Well, Tim, I really don't like to do that because right now I'm over 48, Tim. So you can understand why I'm not going to do that.
All right,
Being
now,
honest at the plum master.
now our first celebrity question of the day comes from Jimmy McNerney, the voice of Turfway Park, the voice of Ellis Park, and the agent for Mr. 6000 to Sean Parker, who got 6,000 wins earlier this week, if you didn't realize. He's also a budding American picker, so he does really have a diverse portfolio. But Jimmy has two very good questions. The first one is, when making coffee that we must stir left to right, he would like to know, what is the proper brewing method? Are you a drip brew kind of guy, or have you used a Keurig machine?
Is it Jim?
Yeah.
Well, Jim, let me start off by saying I want to congratulate Dijon Parker for 6,000. Great job, Dijon. Now, as far as the coffee goes, all of the above are wrong. French, what do you call it? French drip there?
I don't know what you're talking.
Yeah, well, you put the water, the coffee, pour the water over it. Delicious, Jim. Get on it, Jim. Get rid of the Keurig, and you'll be fine. Stay calm.
And the second question to you is, are you a pizza guy? And if you are, do you prefer a thick crust or a thin crust?
Who asked that question?
Jim.
He asked 4 questions here. But I'm going to tell him, Jim, as we speak, last night I polished off 2 large plain cheese pizza. Absolutely out of this world. Thick. I don't like thin. Thin, you get no taste. Thick, nice. That's it.
Well, now we go to St. Lucie County, Florida, just a few counties away. Fellow New Englander K. Scott Hinckley would like to know, what is your favorite memory from a Boston area sports venue?
Where is, what's his name?
He's from Saco, Maine originally, but now he lives in Port St. Lucie.
Oh, okay, Saco, Maine.
Yeah.
What's his first name?
Scott.
Scott. Well, Scott, I don't know what year it was, but was the year that Bobby Orr, when they won the Stanley Cup.
So that would be at the old Boston Garden.
The old Boston Garden, Scott. I was with my kid brother, and we went berserkers. It was the game. He was the best of the best. That was one of my fondest memories.
That's a good answer for him because he's an avid hockey fan, so I didn't even set you up, and you gave the answer I'm sure he wanted. Although he's a Canadian fan, so.
I remember there was only 6 teams, Scott, and they never won. I think his name was Gump Lawson. The Goldie. No mask.
No mask, huh?
No mask. You had hardly any. He had hardly any head left. But that was the end of Gump. But that was one of my highlights.
Well, I showed, as we pivot back to the gardening topic, which was the subject of last week's Sunday sermon, we'd like to thank Paula Bacon, agent for one of the best jockeys in all of North America, Pablo Morales, who I know that you're a big fan of, AGP.
Oh, I love Pablo Morales.
Well,
he's my go-to man.
Well, we showed Art your video, Paula, regarding your garden in wonderful Erie, PA, and this is his reaction to it.
Paula, after replaying the video 2 or 3 times, I've come to one big conclusion. I can probably say this in 3 words. Manure, manure, manure. You can't go wrong. All right? Just stay calm, nice little water, plenty of sun, and you'll be rolling and clover. And thank you, Paula. Thank you.
Well, we're down to the last question from our fans, and then I have one to conclude this week's Sunday sermon. Ordinarily, I would be balking at 9 minutes, 35 seconds, but I feel like it's gone by quick. Tom Riley, another New Englander, he actually still lives in New England. He would like to know, what other track announcers do you actually like, and are you friends with anybody else who calls races for a living?
Is it Paul?
No, Tom. You were close.
Paul.
No, Tom.
Tom. No, I don't know any of. No. Oh, wait a minute. I did. Who's the guy that calls him down the stretch they come?
Dave Johnson.
I met him once. Other than that, my dearest friend above race callers is Mr. Rosario Ayala.
And Tom would also like to know, who are some of your favorite jockeys, trainers, and horses? Well, we already know one jockey. I know at least a couple
Pablo
more.
Morales is number one with me.
No, that's not true.
Why?
Well, because you don't have a bobblehead doll autographed sitting by your bed of Pablo Morales.
Well, Pablo, I got to tell you something now. I got a Hilariousness right beside my bed. Hilariousness, signed, in person.
And you got to meet him.
And I got to meet him at Belterra. Great person. Now, what was the question?
Well, you said Pablo Morales and Perry Utes for jockeys. What are some of your favorite trainers and horses?
Well, I got to be honest. I used to like a guy that trained. He was from New England. Vinny Blends was a heck of a trainer and a great guy to talk to. I had great conversations with Vinny, and he's not with us any longer, but I would say, and the other guy that I really like is Cal Nasker. Great person. And Wanda, his wife. As far as horses, I really don't, I can't say, you know.
Well, before we sign off today, I have one final question. Do you have anything exciting coming up in the life of AGP that maybe the fans would like to hear about?
Well, as we speak, AGP is getting to go to the Caribbean tomorrow, down the way where the lights are gay. That for 5 days. Bahamas, some other place, I don't know exactly where, but yeah, that's where AGP is going.
You're going on a cruise.
Yeah, a little cruise, and I hope everything goes well. And I will be looking forward to our next Sunday get-together. Until then, this is on the side, the poor man's friend. And remember, stay at coffee left to right. Who was that guy's name?
Jimmy.
Jimmy. Make sure, Jim, God is watching. Goodbye.